Good. Ready? All right. And we're live. So let's see if we can get our audio working now. And if we can, then we'll get rolling. So I'll wait on a couple people to hop on. Jeff, you can hear us now. Sound awesome, Joel. Thank you so much. Let's start this over again. Now that the Katie's over, like, whoo, she's everyone say thank you to Katie because she got it working. Awesome. So where was I? Yes, it's that time of night. It's Wednesday, and I'm going to speed through all this since we're running behind now. Katie's going to do a couple giveaways here for the past 2 weeks. If you posted your variation of the fly that we tied, last week was Charlie Craven's CDC Golden Stone, and the week before was little mini Euro jig, little Euro streamer, or non-Euro streamer, just a little teeny jig. We will, everyone's saying thank you, honey. If you posted your fly, use hashtag Whitpinch Wednesday, or you commented on the video, we put your name in one of 2 coffee cups. Katie's going to draw a name out of each one. They will be able to get one of the two fly boxes that she is going to show here in just a second. So big thanks to Umpqua Feather Merchants for the fly boxes. Joe, Christopher, and Randy, and John, Mr. John Collins. Thank you. So after we do that, we're going to tie maybe 3 flies. We're going to do a few different variations. The first one is going to be just the standard little soft tackle. Let me use this Starling on that we posted today. The second one is, if you'll switch over to the vise, honey, is going to be this little little dry fly. So this is a size 20 here. They're very small. So that's really the key part is just tying these things small, but they're both the patterns are very, very easy. This is both of these 2 patterns are going to represent our winter stoneflies that we get. And these sometimes this is the only things that are rising in our neck of the woods. So the stoneflies will crawl out of on the banks, and you'll start seeing them even up on the shoreline. But they are very small. They're typically black or a really dark dun, but they're very small, and they're super easy to tie. So that'll be our second one. And the third one, because Mr. Collins is on here, we'll switch back over to there we go. He suggested, and this will be a first for me, but since I've got, what's this guy's name, honey? Bob?
I don't know. I don't know what happened with him.
This is the skin that we got from Craig Matthews. So we have a whole rooster skin here, and John Collins suggested that I use some of the feathers off the head. So I figured I've got the beak and all. So we'll give that a shot. What's up, Wes? Thanks for hopping on. Jeff, Mr. Jeff Rowley, I hear
that's you got Dirt Reynolds.
Dirt Reynolds. Dirt. Oh, that's who that is right there.
Dirt Reynolds. Dirt Reynolds.
Yes, I like it. And Jeff, I hear you've got a big fishing trip planned. We come to Atlanta, so that's awesome. Yes, Fred Hurst is going to remain intact for now. So before I'm like just sit and jabber on for another 30 minutes, I'll flip it over to Katie and let her do the giveaway, and then we'll get to tying. So, Katie.
Okay, so this one is for the mini jig streamer that we tied the other week, and the winner of this drawing is going to get one of these really cool Umpqua fly boxes. Brand new, hasn't even had the plastic thing taken off the top. Of course, John doesn't ever take the plastic thing off the top anyways, which I never really understood. I'm like, it's kind of like the guy on the commercial who cleans his trash cans. I'm like, but it's not supposed to be on there. It's the LT Magneto Premium Fly Box by Umpqua. So the winner is...
And that one's really good for midges because the whole thing's magnetic, and it's a good midge box.
Patrick W. Smith.
Cool.
So Patrick,
hold up that beautiful fly box there.
Here it is.
The LT Magneto.
And we've got an LT standard to give away next. And the drawing for that is happening now. And this is for the golden CDC Golden Stone.
That's right.
Which I'm going to show you guys pictures of in just a second.
Oh, there's Patrick right there. Good job, Patrick. Congrats. No, Patrick, if she pulls your name out twice, then you don't get it. You don't get both of them.
Freddie's Flies.
Freddie got
Freddie's Flies. Is Freddie on here? Freddie, you won the LT standard.
He was on. He was the first one that said he couldn't hear us. So,
okay. Well, Freddie, if you're out there, if you come back, you're the winner this week of the standard. And Patrick, you have won the Magneto fly box. So, way to go, guys. And while we are on it, I'm going to show you all some really cool stuff.
And Ken B is on here.
Ken B. Okay, well, let's jump over to Ken B really quick.
Since Ken is on, we'll say hello to Ken.
I just want to say hey to Ken because Ken, we got a really cool email from him. And he sent us some pictures from his life in Australia. And he's having floods right now. He's in Queensland, and they have floods this time of year. So,
hey, Ken, do you want to put the camera on you so they're not staring at me in my dollar bill, y'all pants?
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
Actually, I'm going to put it on the media here. So we've got some of his pictures here. Let's see. What do we have? Is that anything?
The one that's up right now is not, but that one I think is
flood. Here's the flood. This is flooding in Queensland. And by the way, happy Australia Day. I don't know if it's Thursday yet or not, but on Thursday, it's Australia Day. Here is the crocodile that, is it his sister that takes care of the crocodile?
It's a blind crocodile, I believe.
Yeah, it's blind.
Blind.
And his sister looks after it.
You said it's Thursday already.
Because that's what people in Australia do. I mean, you know, in Australia, blind crocodile, I'll watch after it. I got it. It's fine, right? No big deal.
Jeff said, crikey. Crikey.
Take care of the guy.
Joel is jealous of
no problem. And here's some delicious Easter limited edition Vegemite and cheese, 4 hot cross buns. It couldn't get any better. Not only is it Easter, it's also Vegemite and cheese and 4 hot cross buns. I mean, let's all move to Australia because that sounds pretty great. Unless you've tried Vegemite, and then I don't know. You'll have to be the judge of that. Raise your hand if you've ever tried Vegemite. We also had some really great pictures this week of the Golden Stones. So I'm going to show you some of those. That's Ed's. And there's Patrick's. Our big winner this week. Truman, if you're on here tonight.
Yep, Truman just hopped on.
Jimmy. And Fly Tire 1881. Flame Lily Fly sent in a couple of different versions.
Yeah, that was a variation he did of it.
I really liked that one. It looks super cool. Bishop 30, Don Bishop. I like this picture. That just looks super cool. I like those kind of pictures. And Christine. Bill.
The black version. And we taught some black ones this weekend too.
And then AK Sledneck's kind of dark colored one. So we had some really awesome ones. But thanks everybody for sending those in this week. I love the pictures. And we've got some fly boxes to send to the winners. And Ken, thanks for sharing your pictures from Australia and a little bit of information about yourself. I'm so happy that you get to join in with us and watch the show. And I encourage everybody to try some Vegemite if you haven't ever tried it. Don't you, honey? Don't you encourage everyone to?
Well, I don't do it once.
You have to at least try it one time. Just once.
What do you Vegemite to keep the bugs? Yeah, Gary, that sounds about right. You might need to keep the bugs away. I think it's an acquired taste. Every Australian I've spoken to about Vegemite has said it's an acquired taste.
Well, you have to acquire it because you have to follow the instructions on the package. You have a little bit a day on your buttered toast, and then you keep adding a little bit more.
Jeff said Vegemite. Vegemite? No,
okay.
Vegemite. Okay.
Well, happy Australia Day on Thursday.
See, Wes likes it on toast, and that's how we're supposed. That's the instructions say to start eating it.
The instructions said a little bit on toast, and every day a little more.
I had it on my finger, and that was probably the bad. um, you know, what can I say? And Joel, thank you for commenting on my pants. My daughter Tegan, big shout out to her
Those
for
are
my dollar bill,
awesome.
y'all. Britches. Um, we try to be casual on this evening. So, what do
I
you say
love
we
them.
tie a fly? I'm sure I'm
Let's do
missing a
it.
few things, but let's get to it. So, the three flies, we're going to do a soft tackle, a dry, and then another soft tackle. They're going to be really simple. The hook we're going to use is, I mean, you can see these are, you see, they're teeny tiny.
Hold on.
Hold
There you
on.
go. Put it back next to the vise.
We'll do the, here's what we're going to tie first. I get it in there. So this little soft tackle here. So, like I was saying with those stoneflies, I don't know, was I talking about the stoneflies with the thing on? I just don't want to settle to. Oh, Don, it does not taste like peanut butter. Um, add a bit each day to kill your taste buds. Okay, so that one was tied on a size 18 freshwater 501. So this is a dry fly hook. This is a standard dry fly hook. I will tie these in 18s or 20s. Um, keep them small. I do like a. I was going to use the 507, the mini, and let's just pull it out and I'll explain why I'm not going to use this one. These stoneflies, they are teeny, but they've got pretty long bodies. If you look at the hook shank difference on these, so my eyes lined up, you can see how much shorter that hook shank is. I want that longer hook shank, and that looks like a ginormous hook in the vise, but I assure you it's not. Um, but 18 or 20 would be fine. Put my glasses on. So I've got two spools of thread loaded up. I'll probably start with a 12-aught, just for the heck of it. So I've got 12-aught Silverfly classic wax thread, and then we'll switch over to the 18-aught classic wax thread as well. They are two totally different types of thread. They're made. They're just corded differently. Um, so if you have any questions, if you're new here, the winter stoneflies do not look or taste like avocados, Truman. But thank you for asking.
No. I want to say it tastes like, and I haven't had this, but I would imagine like if you're in Norway or something and they put like fish in a barrel for like years and then they eat it. Have you ever heard of those things? Like the fish, it's not smoked fish, but it's like pickled fish or something.
um,
Remember we watched a show about that one
yeah,
time?
I know.
Yeah.
It tastes like fermentation.
Yes.
It tastes like.
Yes. It's like fermentation. But it's not fish at all. There's nothing fish in it at all. It's just like yeast or something. It's like barley.
Yep. So what I want to do is like bouillon mixed with buttermilk. Could be.
Kinda.
So,
Yeah. The bouillon I definitely tasted. Like a really strong salty. That's why it makes me think of like salted fish, kind of. But it's not fishy. It's just very salty, I thought.
Yep, that is true. Okay, so the dubbing we use is the Nature Spirit Hare's Mask dubbing. Now, the Hare's Mask has a little bit, see that sparkle in there? A little bit of Antron, I think it's Antron. A little bit of Antron mixed in with it. I'm just going to use black. If you want to, there's better. If you want to mix up your own, that's fine. Doesn't need the Antron in it. You can add some later. And this is like probably enough for 3 flies. Hold it up like so, like this, like so, like this, so you can see it. And the key thing with this is you notice where I started my thread. I want my body to go just about to there. No, I don't want it to go past because that's going to be plenty of room for me to wrap my hackle and build a little head. So this is one of those things when you're tying. I always talk about starting your thread or where you start your thread is a good starting point. Or that was the dumbest thing I think I've said all day.
Try again.
Where you start your thread is a good measuring point. So when you're tying, you'll know where to start and stop. But regardless, where you start your thread is always a good starting point. Yeah. So I'm going to take off just the smallest amount here. And let's get a side view unless my cup's in the way. All right. So if you can see, there's just a teeny bit on here, and that is too much. So I want just the smallest amount. Now I'm going to build my body with the dubbing. So I'm going to build a little bit of taper. These stoneflies don't have much, so they don't need much of a taper. But I want to make sure at the very end, so where the thorax would be, that I've got a nice sharp drop off. So my hackle has something to kind of ride against. And I don't need much. So this is just about as thin of a noodle as I can get, and that's just under maybe 1 3/4 of an inch. So we'll see if that's good enough. And I promise this doesn't take all I've done is dub the thread. Okay, so now I've got my So I've got my thread. I work my thread back, and I've got my dubbing starting right where I want my body to start. And I'm just going to do side by side wraps and build this body up. So you can see I'm getting like the good pickiness of it. And now when I get to that spot, I've got a little bit dubbing left, so I'm going to use that to build that little bit of a ramp here and then stop. So you can see I've got my body made, and I've got that little bit of gotta start somewhere.
Does it matter which way you put your dubbing on, says Chris Travolta.
As long as you do it the same way and you don't go back and forth, I don't really think it does. Now, depending on if you're right-handed or left-handed, one way is going to tighten up as you turn. One way is going to loosen up as you turn. But the key thing is that whichever way you start twisting. So if you twist like this, keep twisting that way. Don't go back and forth, because then all you're doing is just working the fibers back and forth. When I say, and when you hear people say less is more with dubbing, the fewer fibers you can get, the better your chance of those fibers wrapping around the thread is going to be. If you get a big clump of dubbing, and this is real important, if you get a big clump of dubbing and you stick it on the thread and you try to do it, that clump's going to wrap around itself and almost be a ball, and you'll get like the noodle that there's some fancy word for it, but you'll have your thread like this and your noodle will go around it. It's not going around, but it'll like a dog leg or something. So the less dubbing you can put on, the better it wraps around your thread. Hopefully that made sense. Give me a thumbs up if it did. All right, so now we're going to use Starling. Now this is a
Agent Starling. Sorry, I couldn't resist.
I don't have the package. This is a Nature Spirit Starling. These are really good soft hackles. They're cheap or they're inexpensive. You can use. I've tied yaller hammers with the primary feathers. You can do lots of different things with these. Just good small birds. So I'm gonna get up here. Right here is basically right behind the eyes, like the head of it. I'm not gonna get that all the way that high up. This is a big old 18, so I'm gonna grab one feather, pull that off. There we go. Oh, that was no good. Try this again. Grab one feather, pull that off. Okay, so we've got our feather here. I'm gonna strip off the fuzzies. And it's okay if it goes to done. It doesn't have to be black the whole way down. Fava Bean and Guilty. Oh man, I missed a bunch of comments. You'll make it to the show. We're headed to funeral. Oh, Michael. Oh. Dang, we're looking forward to seeing you. And I haven't even mentioned that we're going to be in Edison this weekend. So any of you guys that are going to the Fly Fishing Show, or if you're close by, we'd love to see you. So I'm going to use a pair of tweezers just so it's easier for you to see. Grab by the tip, pull this back, and I'm ready to tie the tip in. So we'll go back over here to the hook. But Katie's typing, so
I'm just telling Nan that
I
don't want her fava beans.
I have not noticed that they're all left-handed. All right, so we've got our see the little triangle here. This is just the tip. So I'm gonna hold it there at an angle. I'm gonna put one, spin my thread, and I actually got ahead of myself. I'm gonna put a very thin, but one quick little layer of thread there because I don't want the feather to be bound down the bare hook shank because it'll slip a little easier. Go one wrap, go two wraps, take my fingers and pull everything back. Everything back. Now we got four total wraps. Does that kind of make sense what I did? And now I'll find my scissors.
Gary wants to know if you ever put a rib on the fly.
Well, you can. I'm just doing this one super, super simple.
He says, well, you can.
And
You can.
it's just so small. And I wanted to do this one real easy. But yeah, you could use you could use wire. The 010 or 020 wire would be good. You could use micro metal, will be fun. You could use all sorts of fun stuff. But Bill, this is the Nature Spirit Hare's Mask dubbing. Here we go. And the Hare's Mask has that little bit of antron in it, so a little bit of sparkle. And this is black. I'm telling you guys, this is like the simplest fly in the world. This is the hardest part. So I've got my fly in my hackle pliers. Fly. Got my feather in my hackle pliers. I'm gonna bring this down. Stroke it back. See how small how short those initial fibers are?
Can Nan use Kingfisher instead of Starling?
You can use whatever you would like. The key thing with the Starling is the size. It is small. But Starling's not, and that's what I learned just today. We're going to play with it in a little bit. We're going to do do one with a little pheasant rooster, and I'll just do one more quick one with the bold. All right. So there's 1, 2, pull tight. I want to do another couple, pull tight. And I want to take my stem and just kind of wiggle it off. It'll pop off. Everything back. Now we're good. We got our nice little soft tackle.
Hi, Deb.
I probably could have used one less wrap there, but you can see how the fibers go back to about the hook, the body to about the hook bend, somewhere around there. That's fine. You don't want the hard part is getting one small enough for this size hook that they don't come back here. You don't want them real long. You want them roughly the size of the body. So when this sinks or sits in the film, this is going to kind of come back. There'll be a little bit of what's the word for it? Fanciness. What's up, Deb? Thanks for hopping on. So much. Desi, do you hurt yourself
She has arrived.
the other day? Oh, so 2 ways you can do this. I like just so I've got less cleanup. Really, take my Sally Hansen's, put a touch of that on there. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we'll make it 5. And that Sally Hansen's will scooch down in there. You can see it kind of going around. If you're worried about it, you can stick a wire up in there. Get this off of there. Now we're good. So that's our first little quick example. Stripping one side of the feather, making it sparse. Sure. Not only I wouldn't do it on these small feathers. Price tag on my Starling cape is $350, so it must be no James or Jim. Sorry, I wouldn't say they're $350 now, but I don't think this was $10. I think it was like $6 or $8 maybe. They're not expensive. That's one reason I really like them. So let's go over to the Freshwater 503 now. This is the mini of the dry fly light. So this is more of a standard shank. Or not really standard, this is more kind of, I guess, kind of like a short shank, but different style hook, but the wire is lighter because this is going to be a dry fly, an actual dry fly. And this time I'm going to use the 18-aught. So this is 50 denier. I'm sorry. Is that right, Gary? 50 denier? It's either 50 or 30. And I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to start my thread a little bit farther back because I want to build my body and everything in front of my body. I want to be hackle and CDC and everything else that's yummy. Bring that back to the bend. Open spiral back up. And free with a pellet gun and some borax. Yeah, get us some starling. I bet he could. All right, so now we're going to use the K-Pock. You'll see me use this a bunch. Find the right way to hold it up. There we go. K-Pock, dry fly dubbing. We're going to use black in this. Kind of the same thing. Got just a little bit there. A nice thin body. This one is designed to ride on top of the film. It can go down in it a little bit. That's fine. But this is not the one we just tied, that little soft tackle. It can sit in the film or sink. It's totally fine. This one, well, it can go where the fish want to bite it. But I would throw this one and that other one as a tandem fly because that little soft tackle is not going to weight this down much at all. It's just going to give it a little, just double up your chance there. So maybe a touch more. I'm not worried about not much of a build here. So we're going to do the same thing. Bring this back side by side. Now we've got our dubbing started. This is very, very thin because these little stones are teeny. Bring it up, around. There we go. So you see we've got a nice little small 12-aught is 15 denier, 18-aught is 30. Okay. 30 denier. So this is teeny tiny stuff, but this isn't going to lay as flat as the 12-aught. You can see right there. There you go. See how it twists in it? This is more of a corded thread. It's so darn small, though. You don't have to worry about having it lay flat. But the way it's corded like that makes it really strong. I'm not saying it's stronger than the 12-aught, but it is pretty strong. So now we're going to go with some black CDC. This is, this is Orvis brand. Can't remember what kind of Orvis brand CDC I was using the last week or so, but something. All right, so I'm trying to find one with a good tip on it. That one was good. Because if you want to, if you're so industrious, you can save the rest of the feather, but all we're going to use is just the tip of this. And I'm going to bring it down. We'll try to tie it in. Let me get this going straight. So you see how it kind of lays, how it's bending down. So right now, the way it's sitting, the top side's the top side, the bottom side is the underneath side. Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell on TV, but it's going down. So I'm going to stroke this back, put just a couple wraps in. And I'm going to say, I think that's way too long. The duck kind of, that's right. Layers of what they're going to eat on top. Work this duck butt. Yep. So now I'm going to grab, I've got 2 wraps in here. I'm kind of grab it by the tip so I can somewhat guess, but I'll pull it until it's roughly the length. That kind of spun on me, but it'll be okay. So you can see, there we go. And I want it to go just to roughly the hook bend. So I want longer than the body, but roughly the hook bend right there. So now I can tighten it up. Get that in there. A couple more wraps. Now I'll cut this at an angle. And you can use this for dubbing. You can put this in a loop later on. You can do whatever you want to with that. That is some good CDC. And or you can be like me and just set it on your tying desk, and then 3-4 weeks later you're like, oh, I guess I'll throw it away. All right, so make sure that's nice and oriented because it's a Stonefly. It's not meant to be like a real wide wing. If you just ask a question, I'm sorry. I'm looking now. And the last thing we're going to put on is a little dry fly hackle. So this is just a saddle off of, I don't know, ask me in a little bit. I'll tell you what it's off of. And just for the heck of it, I'll pull off my hackle gauge. It's going to be hard to do this backwards. So you can see. So we've got that. So what's that? About a 18. So that's about an 18 or so, 18 to 20. It can definitely be oversized. It does not need to be undersized. So we're going to trim the underside of this. So do not undersize it, but you can definitely oversize it. All right, so now we're going to take our hackle stem. We're going to hold it at 45 right here. This, we're going to capture it. Put about 3 wraps on there. Come in here, you can see where my stem's just a touch long. So get my scissors, trim that off so the stem's correct. And now just with touching wraps. And remember all that on the larger thread, I like to flatten my thread out right here to make sure that my underbody is nice and smooth. And I told you this thread doesn't flatten out really well, but it doesn't need to. Well, look how flat that is anyway. So you really don't need to flatten this out. You'll get 3 or 4. I need to put something. Should have put a lighter shirt on. You'll get 3 or 4 wraps of hackle right here. So I'm just going to bring this around. Make sure that second wrap is on the correct way. That's 2. That's 3. That's 4. And we're done. So here's another thing when you're wrapping hackle that kind of is another little trick or tip. So you can see where my eye is. Let's go back to the hook. See where my eye is? See where it's going down? I'm holding it up right there. You don't want to wrap hackle down on if it's a down eye, on this part of the hook shank here. So I've got it right there. So when I tie it off, right here, it's tied off on the top of the hook shank. It's not tied off. I've got plenty of room to build my head right there. So it'll be just fine. When you start tying where my head is here, when you start tying where your head is here, then your hackles start going out wonky and weird ways, and then you've got to push them back to get your whatever it's called, get your head in there, and it doesn't look as good. So if there's any you want to clean up, knock yourself out. I'll work my thread back. Don't need to build much of a head at all, but feel free. That's a cracking good fly I could use as Mother's Day caddis. And the neat thing is, there's 2 hatches that kind of occur very similar, very 5 around the same time. That's what I'm looking for, Gary. And there is a little black caddis hatch as well. And that's what another thing I was thinking about tying today was like a size 18 or 20 caddis. But we did caddises a while back. That'll be a good one to tie later on. This is just a real sparse wing. You look at the profile of it. Well, let's pull this around. You got the nice little wing, body, and hackle. We want this to sit a little bit lower. So what I'll do is I'll flip the fly upside down. I'll have my scissors open. So you see how they're open? I'll line them up with my with the hook eye, and I'll make sure the hook eye goes right into the point. I'm trying to point something small. So I'm gonna have the hook eye go right in here, right where my bodkin is. It's kind of how I'm lining it up. So I make sure I can make my cut centered. And so I just slide it, cut it off. And roughly that makes a good, see how the bottom ones are gone? I've got a few little feelers there. And you can notice when I just pull up on them, they go up just fine. And that's got a flat bottom, which that's what I want. So it's going to ride just like that. You can mess it up. You can do whatever you want to with it, and you're fine. And Gary's absolutely right. It makes it good. Be good for Mother's Day caddis as well. So if you don't put your head cement on your thread, you can go like this, and that definitely works. When you do that, you need to make sure you pull your wire out and you don't lose it like I just lost mine. You know what I'm saying? Jeff, I don't think I'll be joining you in Atlanta. I'm going to try, but I don't think I'll be there. But you make sure to send pictures so everyone will be jealous of you. So that's our quick little winter black stonefly pattern. And now we're going to do one more. Fingers crossed you can make it. Dude, you got like a trip of the century. Well, maybe not the century. Trip of the week for sure. Now we're going to do one more of these of the wet flies of the whatever it's called, soft tackle, and we're going to do it with the Chris. Yeah. Well, this will be the first one I haven't made. Katie and I haven't made in 6 years, honey, 7 years.
Yeah.
We were there in COVID. We were there the whole dang time.
It's been a while.
So we hate to miss it this time. So I'm gonna start my thread the same way. We're gonna do this one with the pheasant rooster per John Collins. 14 to 20 up here. Already with that warm weather. Wingless wet. Yes. Okay, so same thing. And then if you'd like, I'll show you. Y'all are going to tell me I'm fibbing, but I'll show you what I'm packing for my for tying at Edison this year. And it's not much. Because I'm telling Katie could tell you some stories. So maybe while I'm dubbing this, she can tell about what I used to pack to go to these darn shows. Holy moly, you need a U-Haul. Right, honey?
That's right.
Yeah, I felt like if I needed to bring deer hair, I may as well just bring my box of deer hair. If I needed to bring, gosh, I don't know. I do still bring like a dispenser, so of dubbing, so I don't bring just the exact colors I need. I'll just bring a dispenser because that is a little bit easier, but I'm able to fit quite a bit more stuff in there. All right, so we've got our dubbing noodle, and we'll bring this up. I'm not really trying to build a body up. I just want to get my thread right there. I could have just slid the dubbing up, and that would have been fine. Same thing. Build this up. I might have a touch too much dubbing, but one of the things is you want to have that little bit. So I do want this drop off right there. So you see I've got a slight taper. My best one, but slight taper up. But there's a pretty noticeable stop right here. And if you want to, you go back, kind of like what I just did. You could add some more dubbing to build that up, but you don't want this spot here to be a gradual slope down. You want the dubbing to, like a carrot, to come up and then stop. Or stuff if I get to it. You probably will. I don't think, just stay away from Chris because he'll get you buying knot tying tools that are, him and Katie, they're gold until you leave. And I'm just kidding. Chris might love that knot tying tool. I haven't, actually, I didn't get one, so I wasn't special enough. Okay, so let's look at what we're dealing with here on the side camera. So this is my rooster pheasant, boy pheasant. And I've never done this. So guys, you guys are going to be like, oh goodness, that guy doesn't know what he's doing. And you'd probably be right. So Hey, there we go. This head is really tight, so I'm going to use tweezers so I don't jerk out like 5 feathers at once. So John said that these are quite a bit stiffer. Or not stiffer, but the stems are thicker, so they're more durable, which is cool. I can see the stem, they're not pulling out. There we go. There's one. Oh, this is a really pretty color. Look at the color of it on the hook. Let's see if I can get the light to pick it up. Yeah, look at that. See, isn't that pretty? It's like was it iridescent? It's pretty. So we got one feather off. Chris gave you one? Oh, it was a great deal. It was like buy 4, get 2 free or something. I forget, but you and Katie ended up getting all excited. And it was fun watching you all. Okay, so we've got it my tweezers. Now let's go ahead and strip off the fuzzies. The stem does feel more substantial, for sure. I don't really know where you go about buying just a pheasant cock head, but that's what you would need for this. So I want to pinch that like this. Katie didn't have to have it. I mean, I'm not blaming any one person on it. Dude, that's what's fun about going to those shows, though, is finding all the fun stuff and getting all excited in the heat of the moment. All right, so we've got that tied in. We switch over back to the hook. So one thing you'll notice I do once I get that first loop in is I'll pull it just a little bit. Look how pretty that is. Ooh. So I pulled that stem out just a little bit. And now I'm doing wrap number 2. Pull everything back. Get all off there, maybe. Come on. I might have to come back with the... There we go. And now we'll cut that off. So I'm just getting that tip out there. All the tips probably be just fine if I left it. I forget who was asking about. Al was talking about stripping one side. They're still attached to the body. They're probably the ones that Craig shot, because Craig gave everyone on here the opportunity to buy a whole pheasant, and the ones he didn't sell, he's going to sell to a shop. So that one's going to drive me bananas. As long as I don't cut my feather out. I hope you guys are holding your breath. Pick the head clean. Yeah, that'd probably be, if I was going to tie a bunch of these, that'd be the way to do it. So pull this back. And John, this is my first time tying with this, so hopefully we're doing okay. Probably get 2 wraps out of it. My head's going to be a little bit big. I'll go ahead and finish it on the bottom. And because John said that stem was a little bit thicker, I'll bet you it's probably not going to... Nope. See? Sterling popped right out. And this I want to clip. So John is correct. The stem is thicker and more durable. I'll build a little bit of a head here. Not to really clean it up, just to give it a head. Look pretty clean as it is. Or as it was. Got feathers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there we go. Here is our Idea from John Collins and feathers from Craig Matthews. There is our fly number 3. That might be a record, honey. I don't know what time it is. And I'm dadgummit. Hey, whoever's job it was should have told me. I'm going live on Instagram now, guys. Har. So there we go. There is our finished fly for the show. And that was like a record time to finish 3 flies. So let's switch back out to the zipped out version. Here we are. So one thing I was going to show you is when you're traveling, I've got everything except for a couple tools, or a few tools anyway. Here's the fly. I'm going to tie that mini jig streamer and this fly here if you guys approve. If not, then I'll tie something else. Here's one tie at the Edison show. See, that's a lot bigger than what we're just tying, but something that people can actually see when they're walking by. A little emerger here, little CDC, little deer, elk hair. So we'll tie this and that jig streamer. So your Catskill sawtail patterns use woodcock. Yep. So Katie, if you'll flip back out to this thing. So I've got my bag packed, and I think I've got all the materials in it, but that's it. Like, this is all we'll take to the show, other than like some signs, a TV. I didn't put the TV in here. I didn't put the signs and the giveaway stuff, but no, it's got basically, I've still got plenty of room in here. The key when you're traveling and tying and not going to shows, but travel and tying, is just limit the amount of patterns that you tie. So I've got 2 patterns. I can tie a whole bunch of them in one. What's up, on stream assassins? Roger, good to see you on here. You should tie an FML. I don't know what an FML is. Full metal lingerie. Full
fishing
lady
man.
Lady man's like what? So I've got thread. I got plenty of room for more thread. I use these tubes for dubbing twisters. I've got my Sally Hansen's in here. I've got some straggle string, straggle legs in here, and some wire. So this one's full. And it's plenty. I use See, that's one, Steve. I can go through, and this is kind of overboard. Here's sparkle dubbing here, or not sparkle dubbing, but the seal first substitute from Silverfly. So I've got the 3 different dispensers in there. I could get by with 3 bags of dubbing, but I don't have the 3 bags of dubbing. Some markers and a handful of things. And like I said, the tools. This is one that Katie gave me when I didn't have my Velcro or my comb, so I kind of stole it. I don't say she gave it to me. I kind of stole it. But this is my backup one, just in case I forget my other one. But throw another pair of scissors in here, and a couple things I use tonight, and we'll be faint long muddler. Is that FML? I don't know. So anyway, definitely recommend something like this. This is really good. And the nice thing about the Umpqua bag is you can fit it in a your carry-on. So if you're flying somewhere, this will fit into a carry-on, so it doesn't have to be your carry-on. And this other pocket here, I've got a light and my vise and everything else. So anyway, guys, I'll wrap it up from there. Really appreciate you guys hopping on, and everyone on Instagram. I apologize. We've been live on YouTube for the past hour, and I just went what was it, last month? What? I don't know. We've been on YouTube for the past hour. I apologize. I did not click the live button on Instagram until just shortly ago. So feel free to come over and watch it on YouTube. Everyone on YouTube, thank you so much. We will see you next Wednesday night. We look forward to seeing everyone. Anyone who's going to be at the Edison show, we'll see you this weekend. And until next Wednesday night, give us a call or give us an email. message. Look forward to hearing from you. And Katie, we'll let you take it out.
Bye. Have a great night, everybody. See you around.
Thanks, Patrick and Christine and Wes and Ken and Chris and Jimmy and Don. Thank you so